I couldn't help but think during that first reading in realizing what I was intending in this Mass today, that God's providence would have with us the very ones whom we need to be attentive to, care for, and protect as church. That's God's plan in our celebration here today. And I delight in the little voices. It takes me back to my days as pastor of parishes. So it's great to have you here. And in the gospel, Jesus encourages us, his followers, to focus on the things that really matter. And these are the things that should really matter to us. The gifts that the Lord has given us, especially in the gift of life, and that we're called to care for, tend to, cherish, and protect that life. And so I just want to remind all of us and all the faithful of the diocese that as a bishop engaging in days of reparation and prayer and sacrifice in preparation for the bishop's meeting next week, that I do so in a spirit of reparation for harm done to those wounded by acts of abuse and any elements of cover-up of that abuse on the part of church officials. In a spirit of justice, praying for justice to be exercised on behalf of those abused and toward those guilty of acts of abuse. Also inviting us to always have compassionate hearts, especially for victims and survivors of abuse and the suffering they continue to experience, but also compassion for perpetrators in the midst of their broken lives, many of whom themselves have been abused. And finally, for an atmosphere, an attitude, a disposition of mercy, as Jesus himself would exercise, condemning the sin, but not the sinner. Who among us would be the first to cast a stone about sin in our lives? And yet Jesus forgives us and shares nothing less than his very self with us here in this celebration. Let us continue to invite him into our lives, into our families, that we might be good stewards of all the gifts that he's given us, especially the gift of our children.